Hello everyone, you welcome to this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Équinoxe Television. We are broadcasting from Cameroon's economic capital, Douala, and my name is Papla Jonathan. In our top stories in this edition of the news, Cameroon's Prime Minister and Head of Government, Chief Dr. Joseph Nguti, has urged Cameroonians in the southwest region of the country to unite against the common enemy. He was speaking today in the southwest regional chief town, Buea, and we're going to have details with our correspondent, Derek Jato, in the town of Buea. And on to something else, few days to the celebration of Christmas, the town of Douala is still in darkness. Contrary to previous years, very few areas in the town have been decorated with Christmas lights. Cameroon's Prime Minister, Chief Dr. Joseph Nguti, urges inhabitants of the southwest region of the country, one of the two English-speaking regions hit by socio-political and security tensions for over 4 years today, to unite against the common enemy. He was speaking today in the southwest regional capital, Buea. Derek Jato files in details.
Excellency Prime Minister.
The Cameroon Prime Minister and Head of Government was here in this conference hall. Initially, the Head of Government came to the Southwest region to inspect stadia ahead of the 2021 Shan. But the death of Chief Ngale Ekome, the paramount ruler of Mile 14 Tibanda in Buea subdivision, was also on the table. He told the traditional rulers of the Southwest region that Cameroon President Paul Biya is saddened after hearing this shocking information that another traditional ruler again in the Southwest region, specifically in Fako division, was killed. Well, he said chiefs need to be each other's keeper and called for vigilance. He equally said people in the Southwest region should unite against a common enemy. The enemy here, he referred to the separatist fighters or the secessionists. Well, we have been hearing some dissenting statement from other sources, pointing accusing fingers at the particular people to be the masterminders of this particular tragedy, or of this particular shocking incident that led to the death of Chief Ekome Ngale. The Prime Minister was hard on that point, that it is not time to be pointing fingers. For pointing fingers will bring division and will give the enemy an upper hand. This has been the situation. There have been a lot of reactions from other traditional rulers, like the Southwest Chiefs Conference. They came out with their communique and read before the Cameroon Prime Minister and Head of Government, denouncing what has happened and said no to such barbarism, that their land should not be a place to be stained with blood. The Fako Chiefs Conference, on their part, have equally made a statement that this should stop, and that why them, now and then.
We thank God for the concern of the head of state. We sent the Prime Minister to come and condole with the people of Fako for what just happened. We know we are in a situation of war. It can happen through this way or through that way. I think that the message he brought for us, which is very, very important, is that we should be cautious for ourselves, conscious for the fact that we should ensure that we will have enough security around us when we want to carry out even a family meeting at home.
Well, that has been what we have witnessed here in this conference hall in Buea subdivision, the Southwest regional capital. It has been a very tough moment to traditional rulers. Most of them were not happy. Visibly, they were very, very sad because their peer has gone. But now people are also saying that this is because of an Anglophone crisis that has been going on for 4 years now, and yet the solution is not forthcoming. And it is the wish of everyone here that the power that be look into this crisis and give in the expected solution for this land that has been transformed into a killing zone to once more be a peaceful heaven. I am Derek Jato for the 6 p.m. news in Boya.
And at a time when insecurity is on the rise in major towns in the Republic of Cameroon, including the economic capital, Douala, several parts of the town are still in darkness. Street lights are completely absent in many parts of the town of Douala, and the population complaining that the situation is promoting insecurity and making it difficult to identify the people who attack them at night. Smanjikangebre has more.
Even though several zones in Douala have been beautified with Christmas lightning, neighborhoods like New Belngange, Monkam and Hotel du Lait are in darkness, and the inhabitants say their security is in question. I just saw how the bag of a lady was taken away around the police station. You can imagine that even around a security post, thieves are not afraid. In such areas without normal street light to light up the zone, those in this area are already cautious. I don't feel secured at all. I am covering this hair scarf to hide the handle of my handbag, protecting it for it not to be snatched. In the quarter, a lot of harassment is taking place each day, and everyone is trying to protect his or herself as they can. Commercial bike riders who get into the nooks and crannies of neighborhoods in Douala because of their accessibility are also calling for special attention to be placed at certain roundabouts like that of Elf, the airport tunnel, and Yupwe. Armed men are many during this period. They disturb mostly the commercial motorcycle riders. We are asking that they should put security forces every major roundabout in town. Most of the inhabitants at Hotel du Lait, New Belngange and Monkam say even without Christmas decorations, the authorities should think of installing normal street lights and ensuring security for them during these end-of-year festivities.
Contrary to previous years, several parts of the town of Douala are still without Christmas lights few days to the celebration of the Feast of Nativity, and this is something that is not welcomed by the population, who think that the city council should have decorated the town with Christmas lights by now. Immaculate Fogwe has more.
Several streets in the town of Douala are yet to reflect the spirit of Christmas. Less than 10 days to the feast, major road junctions are still in the dark. Garlands which used to illuminate these junctions are absent, a situation described by many inhabitants of these areas as abnormal. Last year, same time, the town was decorated. I don't know why this year is different. Bonanjo in the Douala 1 subdivision is a lone area which has been decorated with these garlands. The Douala 2 subdivision is partially in the dark, as just few areas are benefiting from these Christmas accessories. Many others attribute the absence of these garlands to limited means, as all financial assistance was allocated for the fight against the coronavirus pandemic. I believe the authorities decided to focus on the fight against COVID-19, reason why they do not have enough means to go along with other activities. The population is hoping that council authorities will put in their best by illuminating the towns so it can better reflect Christmas.
Now to the east region of the country, where cocoa farmers are calling on the government to take adequate measures to protect them from those they qualify as unscrupulous business persons who purchase their products at a very low price, making it difficult for them to be able to put food on their table and meet up with other social needs. Because of this, they are urging government to take necessary actions to stop what they consider as illegal and what they consider as a dubious attitude of the business persons. Details in this report by Équinoxe Tv.
In Dumbakanga, situated 7 kilometers from Belabo, the population rely on the sale of cocoa. Behind every home is found a cocoa farm, a principal source of livelihood to families. They meet their doom when this cocoa is being purchased. That buyers propose them discouraging prices ranging between 500 and 800 francs CFA for a kilogram. To put smile on faces of these disgruntled farmers, the civil society puts in place a platform that will enable them sell this cocoa at an increased homologated cost.
Il y a vraiment le volume, le prix monte.
Au niveau de la plateforme, il faut que tout le monde...
This platform permits all sellers to suggest cost of the various kilograms of cocoa so that exploitation by buyers disappears.
Je parle par la plateforme pour que il n'y a plus de tromperie au sous-quartier.
In Belabo, Mambaya, Ndemba, and Ndengdeng, the network of fraudulent buyers has been dismantled, and a kilogram of cocoa here now costs 1,000 francs.
Cette vente-là a pris l'effectivité de vendre ce produit avec le producteur. Nous avons les acheteurs qui sont venus.
Thanks also to the grouping of cocoa farmers to decide on a common price.
Tous les producteurs de cacao, café et maïs à venir ici à Belabo pour vendre leurs produits dans la vente groupée.
The population of Belabo invites cocoa farmers in other localities where they will meet their expectations.
The United Nations Development Program and the Cameroon government are fine-tuning cooperation ties between President Paul Biya's country and the organization, and this is notably within the areas of the development efforts of the Cameroon government and the support of the United Nations Development Program. This is the purpose of the meeting that is taking place here in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala, where some officials of the United Nations Development Program are discussing and reviewing what has been done so far within the context of helping Cameroon to in its development effort, in its development drive towards becoming an emerging nation by 2035. And the United Nations Development Program has been assisting Cameroon in various domains. And for greater details, take a listen to this extract of the Director of Cooperation and Integration at the Ministry of Economic Planning and Regional Development and the Deputy Resident Representative of the United Nations Development Program in Cameroon.
The recovery plan, let us define it as a plan to be done in all aspects of the life. And so-called, we are building together in the economic integration of the population, so that you know that there has been many things has collapsed there, so you have to reconstruct in order to build a new environment for the people here, for the people there. We have also to target the employment the employment issue. We have to employ the governance, the decentralization, and the planning, the strategic planning of the state. That is all this aspect that has to be done. And you know also that the United Nations system has put aside some resources, you know, to accompany the government to rebuild Northwest and Southwest.
The Director of Cooperation and Integration at Cameroon's Ministry of Economy, Planning and Regional Development is talking about the 3-year recovery plan component of the development and reconstruction plan of the President of the Republic for the Northwest and the Southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon. And now we come back to this extract providing details on some of the things that the United Nations Development Program has been doing within the framework of its cooperation with Cameroon in the developmental efforts of the country. Take a listen to the Director of Cooperation and Integration at the Ministry of Economy, Planning and Regional Development of Cameroon and the Deputy Resident Representative of the United Nations Development Program in Cameroon.
Cooperation is too strong, is well revamped, and we can do more. That is why we are here for this exercise. I think you heard about the cooperation in the area of the youth empowerment, in the area of human capital development, in integration, economic integration, the fight against the climate changes, and you heard about the problem in the Northwest and Southwest, also in the extreme North. So all those aspects are addressed together because we are working together, and we can say that it is an excellent cooperation.
Resource mobilization by 200% and commitment and delivery by 150%. We support national response to the COVID-19 by procure medical and non-medical equipment for 25 million USD. We also help to create 6,300 jobs for women and men. And for the next cooperation framework, we will support implementation of national development strategy, structural transformation area, local development, decentralization, and we will also fight climate change.
Cameroon has embarked on elaborating a nationwide or a national strategy of palm oil production, and this with the aid of international partners like the Worldwide Fund for Nature, WWF. And this initiative is aimed at enhancing production policies and creating an enabling environment to sustainable standards that will put Cameroon's palm oil sector at the global platform of sustainability. Charles Ekome reports.
In recent times, palm oil has become one of the world's most popular vegetable oils, and its cultivation across the world has experienced an unprecedented surge. In Cameroon, palm oil is one of the commodities envisaged to leverage economic ambition of becoming an emerging economy in 2035. Cameroon's palm oil production is essentially meant for domestic consumption. Thus, the development of the palm oil sector in Cameroon remains largely regulated within the confines of the national laws, with little attention being paid to sustainability of the sector. The absence of sustainability standards may impact the country's ambition because of increasing global pressure to ensure that palm oil production meets social, environmental, and economic standards. Through RSPO members such as WWF, Socapalm, and Safacam, Cameroon has embarked on the national interpretation of the national RSPO standard.
RSPO is an organization, firstly, the Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil. It's a membership-based organization. Its membership is drawn from producers, so people who own oil palm plantations. It also has members who are transformers, so people who buy crude palm oil and transform into maybe refined oils. There are also people who produce different goods and services from palm oil.
Therefore, with government's ambition and drive of the major palm oil industrial producers such as Soca Palm and Safacam to become RSPO certified, it becomes imperative for Cameroon to ensure that principles and criteria of these certification standards are adaptable to the local context.
So basically, WWF is interested in sustainable palm oil development because from 2012 we realized that palm oil, despite all its importance, is one of the main drivers of deforestation within the Congo Basin and the world, like we've seen with countries like Indonesia and Malaysia. So our drive is to promote sustainable production of palm oil to avoid issues around deforestation, social conflicts, human rights abuses, child labor, and the rest.
Several organizations have been identified in Cameroon to review the National Interpretation Task Force, consisting of 14 members representing the different RSPO membership categories, while bearing in mind that Cameroon remains a small palm oil producing country.
Safety flaws constitutes a major concern as far as the transportation of drugs is concerned in the Republic of Cameroon, and this is why health personnel of the 14 health districts in Betwa, this region of Cameroon, are acquiring skills in the domain of transportation of medicine from warehouses to their destinations and logistics management. Équinoxe has more.
With the coronavirus still threatening to gain grounds in Cameroon, health officials are not relenting any effort to mitigate the spread and knock it out. There is need to stay vigilant and ready to tackle the stubborn pandemic like never before.
Être prêt à faire face à cette deuxième vague si jamais elle se concrétise dans notre pays.
Health personnel of the East 14 health districts are also sharpening skills in the domain of transport and material stock management in a bid to reduce deficiencies recorded in the medical logistics.
La logistique médicale fait partie de la logistique.
Aim of such training is to facilitate transportation of medicines and equipment to their various destinations timely enough and in good condition fit for consumption.
Ici, nous sommes à l'Est. Ces médicaments doivent arriver dans des conditions qui sont contrôlées, qui sont aussi bien pour la consommation de la population.
At the level of the Ministry of Public Health, it is expected that this training curbs wastage of resources and rather boosts the health sector. Meantime, since outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic in March, government had invested fabulously in terms of procuring sanitation materials and test kits for the district hospitals that will help stop spread of the virus.
That's it for the first part of this newscast. Talking Point is up next. Today we are receiving an award-winning journalist. He is also a negotiator, Tamai Jarvis. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Babla Jonathan. It's a privilege to be here once more after a long sabbatical.
Right, and we start with what the PM said today in Boya. The Prime Minister of the Republic, Chief Dr. Joseph Jankote, called on the people to unite, to come together against a common enemy. But we know that the people are very much divided in their opinions, in their ideas, in their ideologies about the whole thing, all what is happening in the northwest and in the southwest region. Some are on the left, some are on the right, some are at the center. So how can this happen? How can this happen, and what is required for the people to be able to come together and look in the same direction against a common enemy, as the PM said?
When I was here some months ago, I said we are in an emotionally charged conflict. And in an emotionally charged conflict, what gives a conflict emotionally charged is when people's verbal excesses becomes extremely disrespectful to one another. And when that happens, you see people start forming cliques, people start forming camps, people start getting weapons to get themselves protected, people start thinking the failures of their failures is caused by X and Y. And looking at the cross division amongst those in North and Southwest region, as far as the conflict is concerned, the conflict just came to give a booster to the divisions and the disunity that had long existed. I think in the days of former governor of the Southwest region, we are witnessing this happening at a time when very few persons, the conflict is seemingly want to die down. People are divided by ideologies. But the question is, what do we do to bring these people together? There is one thing that we must do, and that begins by, first of all, respecting institutions who have the role to play, like the National Bilingualism and Multiculturalism Commission. They have a great role to play as far as bringing the people together. And by this meaning that they have to keep away politics and embrace as what we call education to the people, to understand that there's unity in strength, and to understand that we must respect people's culture and specificity. I'll give you an example. Why we have a division as far as, first, there's a division between those who claim that the Northwest and the Southwest are of opposite views. There's a division between those who support the separatist group. There's a division between those who support the federal structure. There's a division between those who support the effective or accelerated decentralization. Now, in all of these divisions, how do we get the people together? It first begins by the Multiculturalism Commission taking the center stage, educating people about the respect of culture. Remember that if you educate people about the respect of culture, it goes a long way to prevent their minds of division. If you educate people about the respect of bilingualism, it goes a long way for people to stop the rhetoric of calling people francophones or anglophones and etc. So I think it begins by bilingualism. The next step now that we should look at is put in laws that instantly arrest people who use these verbal excesses, people who use words, hate speeches that are contrary against the Republican value of the institution. If you start doing that, regardless of their political affiliation, I think the reason why we have this is because people do these speeches, people openly show division and get away with it. And it causes a ripple effect, because in such a way that people start boiling down in emotions and emotion and emotion and emotions, in such a way that it will reach a certain time when this will manifest to the street. I remember I said here on this platform, I think that was last year, that by May 2019, that if the non-state armed groups don't restructure the way they do things, they'll become irrelevant. And people call me names. And this is what we are seeing today. And I'm saying this year, that is, if authorities don't sit up and start holding people accountable directly who are making utterances of hate speeches, because it begins by hate speech. It begins by people telling you that, hey, the conflict that's ongoing is because this set of people are supporting this set of people are supporting this, and we are giving you 24 hours to leave, we are giving you 48 hours to leave, and we are this and that and that.
And there are laws prohibiting hate speech, prohibiting tribalism, prohibiting all those issues.
It's because in Cameroon,
but people are going ahead with those things, propagating hate speech, and nothing is done.
Babila, let me give you indicators. When I gave not a prophecy but an analysis that by May 2019, if the non-state actors don't do this, do that, they'll become irrelevant, I am still giving an indicators now as far as what lies in front of us is concerned. And if that is not addressed, in the next 6 months, the situation will move away from what we are today to a more deplorable situation, that properties may start getting damaged, people may start getting attacked by virtue of the ethnicity if it is not handled. There are laws of this.
The other day we saw some young people on the streets in Boya blocking vehicles, carrying machetes.
It's sad because values that have been put in place, they don't enforce it. The reason is because in Cameroon we are more reactive than proactive, and we play politics in everything that we are supposed to hold dear with us. Oh Cameroon, cradle of our fathers. There's a phrase I like using in the second stanza of the anthem, which says, instill in them the love and gentle ways, regard of errors of the past. But when we see the way in which the leadership, in terms of especially FACO, is concerned, we are tempted to ask if people have been instilling them the love and gentle ways. Because I believe that regardless you come from east, west, south, center, we are all Cameroonians. And we sing the same anthem. We share the same values. There are laws of hate speech, but people don't do that. We see videos of people openly calling for people to leave. And they are all Cameroonians. And yet we have commander-in-chiefs of this region. Yet we have athletes of this region. Yet we have the head of the Bilingualism Commission and Multiculturalism Commission, who is equally from this same region. What will it take for such people to address and make a public statement and say, hey, guys, slow down on this. Let's focus on the main enemy. The main enemy is insecurity. The main enemy are people who are kidnapping. The main enemy are people who are exploiting their lands and who are taking their lands away from them, who are selling their lands illegally. The main enemy are people who are kidnapping chiefs and killing chiefs. The main enemy, those are the main enemy. And
Jarvis, you have been closely following up happenings in those two regions, investigating happenings in those two regions. What can possibly explain this silence? Something of this nature happening, people almost provoking what some analysts have qualified as a civil war that could erupt from such propagation of hate speech, and the people who ought to take action, as you're indicating, are silent.
Babila Jonathan, the issue is, we call that the economy of war. And there are people who feel like if Anglophone crisis ends, they will not have something to do. Now, what do? The crisis is fading out. As the crisis is fading out, why don't we instill hate? Why don't you bring out a new crisis to let the government know? And secondly, the reason why, from my own investigation, it shows that these people are hiding under the pretext that we are fighting Amber Boys. Now, because they hide under the pretext that we are fighting under Amber Boys, authorities who feel like the Amber Boys are the state #1 enemy and the people #1 enemy in the Anglophone region, who are of the opinion that they must live their lives normally, they must open their shops. They feel like, okay, if you are going about these people, we are okay with it. Remember, the rhetoric that this set of people are using is that it is people from region A that are main agitators of the ongoing Anglophone crisis, and they are the ones kidnapping our so-and-so authorities, and so we want them out. And because of this rhetoric that they are preaching, authorities seem helpless, but helpless because of the entrepreneurship of the crisis, the entrepreneurship of the war. I tell you, Babila Jonathan, if I am the commander-in-chief of Southwest region and you dared do that on trans, I see it in the video, the next 24 hours I arrest you. I arrest you because we need more of peace. We need people preaching love. We need people coming together as a people. This common enemy are those, like I said, who don't want people to open their shops on certain days. The common enemies are those who go around kidnapping people and killing them illegally. That's the common enemy. The common enemy is not the local mommy in the Moya market. It's not the local mommy who is struggling in Bonakanda, who struggles in Tole, who struggles to see that the kids get the best of life, because we are united in our diversity. Regardless of where we come from, we are all Cameroonians, and we share the same peace walk for the land. And if we share the same peace walk for the land, it is incumbent. I am sad because up till now, the head of Bilingualism Commission, who has a sole responsibility to help unite Cameroonians in terms of their cultural specificity, because if you look at what is happening, it's an issue of culture, and cultural violence is very, very sensitive. When it sparks, it takes years and years and years and years and years to even resolve, and such conflicts are not resolved, they are mitigated. Why don't we even prevent it from getting out of hand so that we don't struggle by mitigating it? I expected the authorities to issue out a strong communique by now that, hey, what happened in Southwest region, that we saw a certain purported video, someone calling for people of a certain region to leave that region within 24 hours. We totally condemn such an act and we call that person to order. Why not even summoning that person before authorities to come and explain why you are asking Cameroonians who have their national identity card, law-abiding citizens, legally obtain their properties and have the right to live in any other area, to live the same country. Therefore, you are the one agitating for separation. Therefore, you are the one agitating for the war. You are the one promoting the ongoing revendication in the northern Southwest region.
What's the impact of this on efforts of government to bring the people together? For example, the Prime Minister was there today in Boya saying you people should come together. All the inhabitants of the Southwest region, people should come together and face the common enemy. But when this is happening, what's the impact on the effort of the government to bring the people together?
I think one of the things I like the Prime Minister. I am not a member of government. And you remember, when somebody does something that's good, you praise. When somebody does something that's not best, you say, hey, this is happening. The Prime Minister be going down to Boya to talk about unity and asking people to come together. It's a laudable effort, and that's what we should expect others to do. And the impact is that it will help calm down the anger, the nerves of those who perhaps wanted to reivindicate in the days ahead. It will help give them that momentum that, hey, the Prime Minister has spoken, the Prime Minister has asked us to calm down and look at the common enemy. I think it's going to have a positive impact. And now it is now left at the hands of local authorities now to take control of what the Prime Minister may have given them. And now I expect the Commission of Bilingualism again to move down to Southwest region. And not only Southwest region, we have similar situation in Central region, where some time ago, I think people from the West region had a problem. We equally have this in some part of Cameroon. It's not just in Southwest and Northwest region that we have this. Cameroon is faced with a lot of division at different levels, where the people from the South accuse the people from the North, the people from the North accuse the people from the East, and the people from Libya Alem accuse the people from Manu, the people from Manu accuse the people from Libya Alem. We have this cultural divide. And when the Bilingualism Commission was created, I was happy that it will come and look at all these cultural division and come together and move with education, sensitize Cameroonians on the need to respect our culture, our values, our belief system in such a way that we live in unity and peace. But we are not seeing this. So the Prime Minister's visit in Boya,
the commission has been on the ground. The commission has been doing some work.
Babila Jonathan, I am not saying that they have not. No.
Not to be coming from.
I'm not saying that I've not been doing some work. I am saying that in times of crisis, they are supposed to be proactive than reactive. They are more of reactive than proactive. Babila Jonathan, it takes how many hours? This is more than 72 hours of what we have witnessed in Fako. It's more than 72 hours. How long will it take for them to address it? Except they are walking on foot. If they are walking on foot, it will still take them to arrive Boya and make a statement. We are talking about proactivity here. We are talking about saving the union. We are talking about saving the nation. We are talking about saving the face of the nation as far as helping those who want peace and serenity in one and indivisible Cameroon to come together. That's what we are talking about. Look at the proliferation of Facebook pages of some individuals. It will tell you people saying, hey, we the youth of so-and-so X, we are against this, and the next days you will see action of X. And when it happens like that, we expect conferences. We expect seminars. We expect moving down to the field. We expect calling people together. We expect action, legal action be taken in case you see that this set of individuals are direct threat to national unity. Because national unity is not just stand and say national unity, but it's protecting the life and property of every Cameroonian, regardless of where you come from.
Right. And when we look at what is happening, is there the risk of having a situation that would be out of control, a civil war, for example, that could emanate from this kind of propagation of hate speech, this level of propagation of hate speech, if it has to continue like this and with no corresponding action or reaction coming from the authorities?
Babila, I said this as a negotiator, that there are indicators you put to know whether we'll have a civil war on a conflict or not. And one of these indicators is when verbal excesses, when individual verbal excesses becomes extremely disrespectful to one another. The next thing is that people start arming themselves out of fear. And we have witnessed it. I saw a video of some people moving down to Boya, I think it was yesterday, and dancing around with kind of, I don't know, machete, having machete in their hand, but they were dancing and telling people, hey, intimidating people around under the name of what we are talking about today. And that's one of the indicators. Another indicator is when we start having constant Facebook messages of identified individuals who are saying that, hey, this, that, and you start seeing actions on the field, and you start seeing people moving around, giving announcements that, hey, we don't want you, we don't want you. There are people that may pass behind this and spark the conflict on the brink. And I said, and I'm saying, if this situation is not proactively handled within the next 6 months, we may plunge into something that could be worse than the Anglophone crisis. I'm talking in the capacity as a negotiator, as someone who understands conflict, because we have seen this in other countries. It moves in other countries like in Nigeria, where we have the Christians and the Muslims. Remember the issue of culture and religion are deadly in such a way that when it starts, it starts. The issue of politics, it can handle. The issue of economy, it can be handled. But when culture is used as a determinant of war, of a determinant of hate. That's why hate speech is highly punishable on Facebook. Facebook just blocks you when they talk about hate speech, because my religion is different from their religion. My ideology is different from their ideology. Maybe in my locality, for you to greet a chief, you must make like this. Your own is, I must shake their hands, or I must tell you or portray on the floor on that religion, and on that culture. And when it happens like that, when we are saying that, hey, you are not supposed to greet your chiefs like that, I'm saying I'm not supposed. I don't use ration. I don't use reason. I use the emotions. That's why in conflict, like cultural conflict that we are witnessing today, most of those people are not using reason. They're using the emotions, and that's why we call them emotionally charged conflict. Where do we go from emotionally charged conflict? The first thing is authorities set up commission, not commission, but do follow up, one-on-one follow up, and the next thing is they institute policies that pick those who are promoters of this and encourage people that support national unity, that support Vivian and Sam, that support unity, living together. That's the strategy we need to employ right now. We need to leave the chain of reactivity to proactivity and see a need for Cameroonians. Whether you come from Gokitunja, whether you come from Bello, whether you come from Fako, Moya, Mamu, Ekona, we are all Cameroonians. Under the same president, Paul Biya, singing the same, "O Cameroon, cradle of our father, thou holy shall reign in our midst the Nari post." We are all one.
My Jarvis, award-winning journalist and negotiator, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Babla Jonathan, and of course we are proud of who we are.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. Équinoxe Tv is up next.